Hi team, we have just started working on an unboxing video, an assembly video, and I've just stopped everybody because I thought this is a really good opportunity just to have a little bit of a look around the machine and why we have done what we've done. Now, the last 3.5 years, and before that when we took over the failed company, Vertigo, now we've got 7 years worth of customer feedback that we're drawing on here, and the big thing that we've found is that people don't know where to get started with a commercial level machine. Now we have a Haas, we have an injection molder, we have made machines for, us as a company, as a team, myself, 3 years, and then there was the previous kind of feedback that we're drawing on. So 7 years of feedback on customers, and it was, what is the difference between hobby, commercial, entry commercial, and full-fledged commercial? I think there's some breakdown points in there where, if you're just chopping wood, you don't need a 5-ton machine to chop a kilo of wood. It's just that simple. You don't need it. So why spend $100,000 on a wood machine? It's just not there. So we looked at the barriers to entry and some of these things, and it was hardware matching. So application matched hardware, and that's where we thought about the discovery. And we've named it Discovery for that very reason. It's about discovering what CNC works for you. Now, these ones here, we have scaled them from different sizes, 300 by 300, all the way up to that 1200 by 1200. And it's designed to be an accessible, entry-level, low-cost commercial machine so you can make money from it. The most important things that we've found with this is you need reliability and you need repeatability. Doesn't matter how accurate it is, so long as it does the same thing over and over again, you can adjust it and you can work out the accuracy issues after that. But it needs to be reliable. You need to make sure that it's going to do the exact same thing every single time you hit the go button. So we looked at that and we went, okay, how do we do that? So we've got the basic fundamentals of a commercial machine. Linear rails, ball screws, steel construction, computer-controlled VFD, and run it like a computer printer. That way you can claim it as a computer printer on your taxes and get 40% off in depreciation a year. But it's got all those bare bones things that you need to really dial into that reliability and the repeatability and ensuring that you can make the same product every time for your customers. It doesn't matter if you're making automotive with intercoolers, radiators, intake plenums, manifolds, exhausts, or if you're in joinery and you're making cabinets and kitchens, or boat building, or drones, or radio control racing and making chassis out of carbon fibre. We've got people engraving limestone for gravestones. Like, all you need to know is that your machine is going to do the exact same thing every time you hit the go button, and it takes the guesswork out of it. As soon as you do that, you're unlocking the ticket to money. Doesn't get much better. So we've designed this machine to help people get into business, to enable the micro manufacturer to take charge of what they're doing, and that's why we've got the Discovery. Now, gantry routers are easy, 3-axis, so we are working on the 4th axis for them, which is actually, it's going to be simultaneous 6-axis once we get that there, but we've had a few hiccups along the way, and that's why we've had to push a pause on the radial engine. There's a few other bits we can do that are 3-axis, but we just wanted to get the 4th axis stuff dialed in properly before we do that. But the next kind of exciting things for us is we've got the lathe project underway, and then after that we'll have an injection molding system. So we'll have a complete manufacturing pathway for the micro manufacturer around square objects, round objects, and plastic things. You'll be able to make your own molds, you'll be able to make your own parts, and you'll be able to finish them complete. Oh, and the other thing, we've had a few requests about cardboard, so we're going to, as part of the next upgrade on this, which is the 2.2 kilowatt automatic tool changing unit with the discos, we're going to do drag knives, creasing wheels, and oscillating blades. Oscillating blades? So the drag knives, and I'm trying to think what they're called. But the oscillating blades, and then we're going to also make some pen attachments, so you can run some felt pens and some fine point pens, which means you can do artwork. So not only can you do the product for your customers or for you, but you can make custom packaging branded perfectly for it. And we're going to unlock all of this with tutorials, online resources, and freebies. And we're going to partner up with a few other companies which are doing similar things. But it's all in all, it's about enabling you guys, the micro manufacturers, to take control of your own product lines, your own production, your own time schedules, everything. And I mean, the three of us here that founded the company, myself, Scott, and Zane, I'm a Sparky, Scott's a software engineer, and Zane's a chemist. As far away from manufacturing as you can get, and we're figuring it out. And we've learned a lot of these lessons along the way, and we want to make sure no one else repeats them. So we're going to document over the next wee while some of the lessons and the things that we have learned, the tools and the resources that we've now utilised to become more efficient and overall better, and all our journey and everything, because it's about you guys, the customers, making cool shit, and we want to help. It's just as simple as that. So we think we've got the perfect hardware application for you guys now, and the other side of it is where we're just going to start dialing things up. We just really want to get in and get stuck in and help you guys do some really cool shit. So I've just sat back down because I've forgotten to mention something really, really critical. But how do you know your machine is working? So we've implemented a LED status light along the top of the X carriage on the machine. Now we're going to get some feedback from you guys about what will work best, but we've got a few colours where we've got green and yellow and blue and red and different combinations of them, which means that if you've got your machine parked up somewhere and you've got earmuffs on, you've got a radio going, you don't know what's happening, but you can look at the LED light and you can get that visual confirmation that everything is running, or it's idling, or it's waiting, or there's been an error. The other side of it that I forgot to mention as well is our stepper motors. So these are 24 volt closed loop NEMA 23 stepper motors. This means that we can stop any machine if there's an error of overloading, and we can recover it, and it just closes that loop on feedback, machine control feedback. So entry-level machine, entry-level commercial machine with your closed loop control system, your electronically controlled spindle, your LED status light for human machine interaction, steel construction, ball screws, linear rails, New Zealand made, Fernmark registered. We've programmed it, we've designed it, we've done it specifically for micro manufacturers. So in keeping with the theme of the bare bones commercial unit, we don't supply them with a bed. The reason for this is because we want to match that hardware to your application. And again, you don't need a solid steel weld flat table if you're just cutting clothes pegs. Like, why do you need that level of product when your application is not matched to it? So why get charged for that? So we don't supply them with a bed. This means that we have 200 of travel on the z-axis, and that's 150 and minus 50. So from the table downwards we have minus 50. Plus we have the tramming plate and the alignment plate, which means we can move the spindle within about 120 millimeters up and down on that plate as well. So we can really get some additional travel and some movement going on this if required. And again, with the modularity, we can supply a 6mm plate steel laser cut folded welded table, which you see in the radial engine build videos, as an upgrade package for this. So when you're talking a sub 10,000 New Zealand dollar machine, so that's including taxes, with a $5,000 table, you've got a $15,000 gantry mill at that point. Now, people do ask, what's the difference between a router and a mill? Now, fundamentally different in how you operate, and it comes down to the RPM and torque band. Now, I'm open for corrections. This is our understanding of our journey of how we've done this, but a router is what we've kind of figured out, 12,000 RPM plus, and a mill is sub 12,000 RPM. So you're kind of looking at a brute force approach, like a bulldozer, versus a race car. Now we can take a lot of light, shallow cuts but we can't exactly get a ripping blade and push through things. So we have to optimize workflows based on how it is. So there's no reason why these machines can't do everything. Woods, plastics, steel. We've got some grade 5 titanium we're going to try on it in a couple of weeks just to get that feeds and speeds recipe dialed in. But remember, all we're after with this is reliability and consistency. If we are out by 0.1, so be it. We can adjust our tolerances in by 0.1. The machine is effectively a giant spring, so we just have to account for the springiness. It's really trivial, and that's how we can get some sub 50 micron results on one of these, is just by tuning for your application. Again, production is about repeatability and consistency, and reliability and consistency. So you want to be able to produce the same thing over and over again, exactly the same. Once you can do that, you can fine-tune your recipes. It doesn't matter if it cuts it slightly big or slightly small. You can tune that out, but once you know it's doing the exact same thing over and over again, you're set. So we do this. We have the disco. It's got its LED status lights. We've got closed-loop control. We have a brake for the emergency stop on the Z, so it's not going to plummet into anything. We've got the computer-controlled VFD and spindle. It's a steel construction with linear rails, ball screws. The big issue we found with the Proteus was that the ball screw being semi-exposed, it got material in it. So we've hidden the ball screw in behind the C channel, so that's eliminated somewhat of that risk. The end stops, the machine used to home to the back. We've now calibrated this one and we've changed it so that the homing stops are at the front. Now, this was because when you've set something up, typically you've set it up at the front, and when you do a tool change, the machine's at the back, you want it at the front. It's all about time, optimizing time, and making sure that this machine is commercial in nature. It's not a $150,000 Haas. It's not $1 million DMG or a Kuma. It's a $10,000 get started CNC machine. You have to start somewhere. This is where you want to start.